Hey, so it's another coronavirus Saturday night, and I am home alone with my Neville Goddard reader. And I've been kind of going through the power of awareness over and over for the last couple days because I hadn't read it in a while. I picked it up again. I'm like, oh, wow, like this has really clicked in the last 5 months since I read it into my own experience as I've been sort of examining my life and how things have worked. And so I wanted to read this one little part from this, and it immediately made me think of my experience with money. So I wanted to just read this. When you understand the redemptive function of imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all your problems. Every phase of your life is made by the exercise of your imagination. Determined imagination alone is the means of your progress, of the fulfilling of your dreams. It is the beginning and end of all creating. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. And there was this other part over here. This is chapter 5 of The Power of Awareness, by the way. Basically says the same thing as what I just read. It cannot be emphasized too much that by creating an ideal within your mental sphere, by assuming that you are already that ideal, you identify yourself with it and thereby transform yourself into its image, thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. Every state is already there as mere possibilities as long as we think of them, but as overpoweringly real when we think from them. And when I was just reading through this, I was thinking, when you think from a state, like what does that really mean? And so I was thinking back to sort of the middle part of like the arc of the creation from when I started my business to where it is now. Started it in like 2007. It didn't really give it all the attention and focus and put everything into it until the end of 2010. And so in there, maybe like 2012, 2013, let's say those years, as it was growing, so was my after the first signs of life, and I started saying, this is really going to go. This is really going to go. This is it. Like, this is the thing that's going to make me all of the money I ever need to live on. And I mean, this is when my business was grossing $50,000 a year, which isn't very much. I just knew, I was like, I'm going to ride this train till the wheels fall off. Like, this is it. And so, in there, in the middle section where I had repeated that kind of thing over and over to myself so much and believed it and just known it, and then I would see, signs of life in my reality, and it just kind of built on itself. I would visualize the next thing and bring it to pass and all that stuff. There were times where events would come up, like let's say I wouldn't be able to do something that I would like to be able to do that involved money. I distinctly remember how I felt about them. And I think this is what Neville is talking about when he says, think from the end state. If there was a disappointing thing or like something I wanted that I couldn't buy, I distinctly remember my reaction essentially being, I'm not even going to think about this because I know that in a very short period of time, I'm going to be able to buy this and 100 other things like it. It was true to me. I was just like, I don't even need to spend 1 second thinking about this. Like the fact that I couldn't get this thing today, because the outcome of being able to buy whatever I want is a guarantee. Like that was how I looked at it. This is a guaranteed eventuality, so what in my current reality, I can't, afford to spend $600 on this pair of boots that I really want. Who cares? And I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about not being able to pay my electric bill, but, looking at things I wanted had the opposite effect of decreasing my faith. All they did was, and this is kind of the law of attraction vision board thing also. This kind of goes with that. I'm really like making all the connections between all these things since I made that video earlier today, but was posted on Saturday, since I'm sure this is not being posted on Saturday. You know, that's kind of what the vision board idea is for. It's so that you build this idea that in your mind that these things are a surefire eventuality. I did that all the time with my finances when I didn't have enough to buy what I wanted. I mean, I remember distinctly having a conversation with my ex saying, it would be so amazing if I could just get to the point where I could afford to spend $25 on sushi for lunch every day. I would love that. That would be amazing. Just like these little things. And, when I look now, like it's been such a long time since I couldn't afford to spend $30 on lunch every single day if I wanted. And I do. There was just this attitude of like this opulent outcome that was a surefire guarantee. I never worried that it wouldn't happen. And in fact, anytime I was faced with the reality that I wasn't there yet, all it did really was fuel my belief that I would get there. It's just like, when I would see something I wanted that I couldn't afford, I was just like, I can't wait until I can just buy this. I can't freaking wait. It's so close. It's like how I am now about retirement. I will be retired within 2 or 3 years for sure. How can I tell you that? A lot of things could happen to make that not true. It doesn't matter. I just know it will happen 100%. I'm whacking my hand on Neville Goddard right now. Sorry, to emphasize my point. This wasn't a huge amount of mental work for me. At first it was a little bit, but it's just the more you see how this works, the easier it is to have that kind of attitude. Thinking from the end is basically when you're faced with the reality of right now in 3D and it isn't what you want, it's like your reaction can be to look at that and get down about it and get negative about it. Or it can be, I can't wait until this is like, oh my God, I'm so excited. It's like when you book a vacation and you look around that you're still home, you're not like, oh man, I'm going to be home forever. You're like, I can't wait to go on vacation. Oh my God, I just remembered, that I want to be on vacation and I'm going to be. It's kind of the same thing with anything. It really works the same way with everything. And I just wanted to kind of reflect on the money thing because when I look at how it played out, it really follows everything. When I read through Neville, I'm just like, this is what I did with money. This is what I did with money over and over again. Thought from the end, lived from the end. Even, obviously when I didn't have finances, I couldn't buy stuff, but it didn't matter. I still sat and went on realtor.com and looked at all the properties that were available and picked out what I wanted. And then, when I had a down payment in 2013, it became a reality. I got what I wanted. I didn't look at real estate when my income was way too low and think I'm never going to get that. It was like, I can't wait to have that. And it's going to be here. By the way, I got that way sooner than I thought I was going to too. Like I wasn't even thinking in 2013, I wasn't even thinking anything about buying a house, and then circumstances just kind of one thing to another led to moving out of the place that we were in and then moving into a place that was a temporary fix and then being like, hey, let's just buy a place. We can afford to, let's see if we can get a mortgage. And turns out we were more than qualified, yeah. Anyway, that was my very animated Saturday night coronavirus pep talk about thinking from the end and getting super excited about having the thing that you want that is definitely coming and thinking of it that way. When you're confronted with the reality in 3D that isn't what you want it to be, get excited about the fact that it will be soon. That's a pretty powerful thing.